All right, everybody, we are live here in the Creators Corner, and we're joined by Brent Peeples. You may know him from Major X, Titans, The Infected, and a slew of other books. How you doing, Brent?
Good. How are you?
I'm great, man. It's been a while since you and I have talked. I first met you back in 2018 at Memphis Comic Expo. We were at a drink and draw for St. Jude, and I actually picked up you did a Nightwing sketch.
Yeah. It was at that bar, right?
Yeah. And I actually gifted it to Greg, world's biggest Nightwing fan. I mean,
nice.
Huge Nightwing fan. But yeah, and then I eventually picked up a cable from you at New York Comic Con. But enough about my art purchases. I guess let's get into your journey into comics. What is the first thing you remember drawing, either as a child, adolescent, whatever, the first thing that just resonates with you that you drew? And when did you kind of decide, hey, I'm pretty good at this, maybe I could do this for a living?
First thing I drew, the first thing I remember drawing is Superman when I was little. My dad would buy me those big 11 by 17 comics. You know what I'm talking about? Like there's one that's got Spider-Man on the front, I think Parasites in the back, and maybe Lex Luthor or something like that, or Dr. Doom or something like that. In the back, it would have how to draw superheroes, and so that's where so that's the first character I remember drawing is Superman, and so he's always kind of been my dude. I don't know why, I've just got like this special connection to Superman. As far as when I decided, I remember in the 90s when X-Men '1 came out. Or was that 89? Was that 89 when X-Men 1 Jim Lee's X-Men '1?
That would have been 90, 92.
Was it 91, 92, something like that?
Yeah.
Anyway, I'd always had comics, but that was the first one that really struck me when that dropped. And then when X-Force dropped, all that 90s stuff, I was a kid. I was 11 and 12 years old. So, it really popped out at me. But it wasn't until it wasn't until 2007 where I decided, hey, maybe I want to give this a shot. And that's what it was. It was sitting at home watching a comic book related thing on TV. And I was 27 years old and decided that I needed to give this thing a shot before I was too old to, quote unquote, too old to do it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I didn't want to be 60 years old, 70 years old, working somewhere that I hated and wonder if I'd ever could have done anything with it.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I can relate there, as I'm not talented in that aspect though. So, I love when people just finally give it a shot. You clearly had another career prior to what were you doing prior to comics?
I was working behind a desk. I was working in a truck brokerage business. So, we were the middleman between shippers and truckers, and that's what I was doing. And it was good money for a 20-something-year-old kid that, with no college degree. It just wasn't what I was built for. I wasn't built to go into an office and sit behind a desk and
even somebody else tell you what to do.
Yeah, even as relaxed as the company was and the business was, it wasn't necessarily corporate by any means. But it just, getting up at 7:30 in the morning and or being at work by 7:30 and doing a job that was just, it's just not wasn't what I was built to do. I'm definitely a creative between art and music. I needed to do something creative.
So you said music. Do you have a background in music?
Yeah. I grew up singing too. And so I play part-time. My weekend nights are usually filled with band gigs here in the Dallas area, and before COVID, Oklahoma and Louisiana. So now things are opening back up. So hopefully we'll get to start venturing out a little bit more, but the band plays about once or twice a week.
So anybody in the Dallas area, what's the name of your band?
The Jukebox Heroes.
Ah, nice throwback.
Yeah, we don't sing any Foreigner though. We don't do Foreigner. Just named a band after it.
Um, so, I guess, what was the first published title that you had? Whether it's because did you start on interiors? Did you start doing covers?
I started with interior. So interior, the first published thing I did was Grim Fairy Tales. It was issue number 43. It was the last unicorn series or storyline they were doing. So that was my very first thing, and that was in late 2009. So I think it hit shelves December 2009. I think that was the first time I had anything published, and then from there, I worked all kinds of places.
So, what was there? Do you have a specific moment that you can kind of pinpoint in your career that you're like, all right, I've made it. This is it. I know I'm going to be here for a little while.
No, I at no point have yet to feel like I've made it. To be honest, I've gotten to work on a lot of cool projects, but I think, like anything else, you have to keep busting your ass to stay where you're at. So. I mean, there's a 17-year-old kid somewhere drawing right now that's going to come in and could easily take my job on any project that I'm on because they're just that good, And comics these days is a lot different than even when I was trying to break in. I mean, that was when I was trying to, excuse the cough. I probably should quit smoking. But when I was trying to break into comics, in 2007, 2008, 2000, the internet wasn't still as rampant. I mean, you still had, things like DeviantArt and the business boards and all that, there was email, but it still didn't feel like it was as big globally as it does now. I mean, it was still a very much go to conventions and show your work and, get portfolio reviews and now it's as simple as, Twitter was just then taking off, now it's as simple as, an editor can post, hey, I'm looking for interior artists, post work in the comments and, anybody in the world can get, throw their stuff up and potentially get a job. So, I feel like I've done well. I feel like I've been successful, but it's a difference between feeling like I've been successful in comics to making it in comics. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like every day, every project I do, I feel like I have to make it in comics. Does that make sense?
It does. And I suppose I should restructure the question because that does if they do answer, it does, I guess, make someone sound a little pompous if they answer it that way. But I guess at what point did you feel like you can call yourself a professional artist?
I would. There's two bits of that. The first when my first book came out, walked into the shop, and I was excited. I was hitting all the shops in the Dallas-Fort Worth area picking up a copy, and that was a big deal. And I remember walking into a shop where a creator who's local was there. That I, looked up to, and by the time I got home, he had sent me an email being, congratulating me, and we talked to the store. But I got home and there was an email sitting there where he was congratulating me on getting published, and but I think I consider myself a professional the minute that I got something published and got paid for. That's when I knew that I could do this. But each project, after that kind of solidifies that a little bit. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's I think as creatives, sometimes we tend to be hardest on ourselves or be a little bit self-deprecating or think that we don't matter sometimes. But each project solidifies it. And anytime I get a new project, like, when I got new Superman, that was my first DC work, or when I got, things like that. Or, props and accolades from fans or help with that, and the same as, you know, if not more so, peers in the community. You know, when somebody is when somebody wants to, you know, that I've looked up to, or, you know, their art or whatever I look at, and you know, they give me props on work that I've done. That always makes me feel a little bit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Well, I guess you said the people that you look up to. Who were your influences, and some of the people now that may not have been your influences, you know, when you were breaking in, that you look up to now?
Oh man, there's, you know, when I was a kid, it was the '90s guys. You know what I mean? It was Jim and Todd and Rob and all those guys. You know, now there's a slew of them. I mean, there's, you know, of course, you know, Coypel's amazing, and Pepe Larraz is amazing, but, you know, Stuart Eminem's amazing, and Bernie Wrightson was amazing, and, you know, there's, you know, I like Phil Hester's art, you know, and Mark Bagley. I mean, there's just a slew of different guys.
Yeah.
And girls. Sarah Pacelli's amazing and phenomenal. You know, yeah. I kind of look at everything and go, okay, you know, at this point now, I can't read a comic book or look through a comic book without studying the comic. You know, I was told when I was getting in that comics will ruin reading comics, and to an extent where it's still enjoyable, but every time I look at a page, or every time I read through a book, I'm studying the book. You know, how did they handle it this way? Why did they handle it this way? You know, what are they doing? How am I learning at this point? Because I still feel, I mean, I'm almost 11 years into this thing and professionally, and I still feel like I'm learning every day. You know, we're trying.
Honestly, man, that's what makes, in my opinion, what makes a great artist. Somebody who is blowing my phone up. Sorry about that. You can take that from, if you don't mind. If sorry, I put it on Do Not Disturb, but somebody's blowing it up, man. Just turn it off for me if you would.
Doesn't know me.
Oh man. See, where was I?
Learning.
Not in the middle of it. Okay, so when one of the moments where you know, I've known you for 3 years, and the part where it just made me cheer for you when I saw the Major X thing, you know what I mean? That was a huge deal for you.
It was.
How was it working on that, and you know, just working with Rob and just all of the above?
Rob's great. I love Rob. I had known Rob for a few years prior to Major X. So we had met at a show. We got introduced at a show, and we had actually worked on something that previously to that, there was a creator-owned thing of his that we never completed, never got put out, just kind of got shelved. But you know, I love Rob's great. Rob's great. Working on Major X was phenomenal. It was a major dream. I'm not trying to have a pun, but it was you know, Rob is one of those guys that I remember sitting in my dad's lap looking at X-Force number 3, I remember specifically, and talking about, look at this guy's work and how awesome it is, and my dad saying, you can do that one day. You know what I mean? So Rob, I really looked up to those guys, and getting to work with him on, you know, a character that he created is pretty freaking rad. I mean, it's just, I don't know how else to put it. I mean, it's just really rad. And then, you know, to work in, you know, in conjunction also with Will Sportasio, and it was just, you know, and it's drawing Wolverine and essentially Deadpool and Cable. I mean, you know, it felt like I was drawing my childhood. It was dope.
Dude, I honestly, I can imagine. I mean, I can't imagine fully, but it you know, that moment where you're sitting in your dad's lap and you remember that, and then all of a sudden you're working alongside this guy that you remember, one of your first memories of comics.
Yeah.
And you are a what's the term? I can't think of it right now. Associates now with that man.
Yeah. It but it's cool to walk into a room. We ran into each other at New York at a thing afterwards, and walk in and this is before we did Major X, and him to walk up and say hi, and it's just it's really wild. Or I was in the same. We was doing a convention, and I was going from the hotel to the show, and it's me and Jim Lee in the car together. And it's just like, what the, you know what I mean? It's weird. It's cool, but
do you still get awestruck and all that with meeting some of these people?
I get a little like, yeah, I try not to, but there's still some guys that you're like, oh, you know what I mean?
Dude, I work with Art Germ, and I was at San Diego 2019, and we're walking up, we're going in, and here comes Mark and Lisa Brooks, Mark Brooks, and he's like, hi, Corey. Hi, Mark Brooks.
I love Mark and Lisa are so great. Mark's one of the first guys that gave me a portfolio review when I was breaking in. Yeah. And he's also a guy that I remember I went to San Diego, when I was going to Conquer Comics, and my portfolio reviews did not go the way that I was hoping they were going to go. And Mark, kind of gave me one of those real deal pep talks. I went by his table and he's like, how's it going? I was like, oh, not good. I was all down and depressed. And he was like, brother, he's like, dude, it took me 7 years to break into, Marvel and DC. He said, you either want it or you don't. He's like, if you want it, go get it. And yeah, I've had a lot of respect for Mark from jump. That's a great, solid dude, and Lisa's just a wonderful person. So yeah, they're great people.
I mean, that's awesome. Was there was there anybody else that you were just completely awestruck when you met them? I mean, just from a professional standpoint.
I don't know. Meeting Mark Silvestri at the Top Cow party was pretty crazy. I mean, the dude towers over me. He's like 1 million feet tall, and I'm all of 5'7". So, that was pretty crazy to meet him, and he had, I guess, knew my work from the image book that I was doing. So it was pretty nuts.
Man, my lighting went wonky here. Oh well, everything went yellow. I don't get it. But anyways, yeah, I guess what can you do a time check for me? What? So okay. So I guess we're getting pretty close to the end here. I want to run off a few fan questions. I don't have my glasses on, so this is getting a little difficult. Let's see. Oh, Donald says Stanley calling. Donald is the guy who puts on Memphis Comic Expo, by the way.
Yeah.
Let's see. Breaking into any industry these days is difficult. Let me see what else we got here. I don't know why I did that, but let me kick that up. That right there, we'll go ahead and touch on this. One of the main reasons that we brought you on here is you've got a crowdfunded project from Kickstarter. Tell us a little bit about that.
So it's Take the Monkey and Run. It's a project I've had in my back pocket for a couple of years now. And it's about a 13-year-old boy who on his 13th birthday gets a stuffed monkey, and he doesn't understand why. It comes from it's a present from his mom, who, as far as he knows, abandoned him when he was a child. And anyway, he's the pendulum switch between good and evil. He's the tipping point, and he gets this monkey, and we find out why. And the monkey's essentially like a golem. So the book is kind of Calvin and Hobbes meets Supernatural. So there's going to be there's inspiration from both things there. So I think it's going to be a fun ride. It's something I ran past some buddies of mine in the industry, and they all think it's a good, people that I think would tell me honest stuff, and they think it's worth pursuing. So I think now is the time to do it.
So do you on your tiers, do you have stretch goals, I'm assuming, for certain things?
I haven't set a stretch goal yet. I've got one or two kind of in my back pocket if we were to get there, but we're not even funded yet. I mean, we're at 70%, so we still got 30% to go.
All right, so here's what you do, guys. You see that thing there in the ticker at the bottom? I need you to click on that I need you to type that in, copy, paste it. It's in the comments too. You can click on that link, head there, support this man's project. If you've enjoyed this interview and you're inspired by any of the things that he says, head over there, give him a couple bucks. You'll get an amazing book, I promise. Now, on top of that, we have something else that we're going to announce. And Greg, if you could get this ready. You and I were talking, and we were trying to come up with a way to work together, and we went ahead and decided, well, we're going to do an amazing sketch op for the Fans Comic Online. And on top of that, we're doing a signing op as well. And we're going to charge $10 a signature for that signing op.
Mm-hmm.
Every single penny of that $10 is going to be donated to the Hero Initiative. So if you guys do want a signature from Brent, send it in. We'll show the live. Oh, there we go. There's something neat there. Let me, wrong way. There we go. So this is the graphic here. You'll find this on all of our facilitators' pages. We got Ages of Slabs, Rich Inn Comics, Clan McDonald Comics, Scott's Collectibles, and Twin Cities Comics. And these are the prices: $100 for a sketch, inked torso. This will be on either Bristol or just a regular comic. Right now we have 5 Bristol spots available. Everything else is going to be for comic books. So if anybody wants them, info@comiconline.com. You can do that, or go to your favorite facilitators page and purchase from them. So the cutoff on this is going to be May 1st, as it says. So it's short notice, guys. We know it is, but we wanted to fit this in as soon as we could to, have Brent a part of this, because this man, he's got a schedule to keep, and we wanted to be penciled in it. So do we have any fan questions before we let Brent go? Let's see. Monkey definitely looks cool, says Galruccio. If you'll notice, you probably made a fan here. Galruccio is a perennial fan of ours. She is here for everything we do, and this is someone who is just a phenomenal comic fan. So, yeah, that'll be a fun fan to have, I'm telling you. I guess, is there anything else that you'd like to let the fans know or talk about before we let you go get about your day?
No, I think that's really it. Jump on that sketch op, and then go support the Kickstarter. And I really think it's going to be a good book, and I've got plans to make this thing into a cool series if we can just get it going. So the first step is to get this thing moving. So anyway.
We already sold a sketch to Anika. Fantastic. Who else we got? Brent, that background you put up today looks awesome. It did, man. I was going to actually send that to Greg to have him put up here to give reference. But dude, that background was solid. I've got a cable from you, and I'm telling you, one of those spots is mine because I want a Strife or a Mr. Sinister. I haven't decided which one yet.
No.
Those are my characters, so that's where I go. Let's see. What else we got? Top 5. What are the top 5 comics that you currently read or have read?
There are none that I'm reading right now. I haven't had time. Top 5. I love Magic Order. Let's see. Let's go through. Let's see. Man, I don't know. That's a hard one. Probably the most recent that I loved the most was Magic Order. That was such a dope book. It was so. Yeah. Empress by Stuart Eminem. I think that was a Mark Millar book too, right? with Stuart Eminem. That was great. So, yeah. I think those are my top two that I can think of off the top of my head. I love Thor stuff. Spider-Man stuff's always fun.
Yeah. I can't go wrong there. All right. Well, we will. I know we're about out of time here, so we'll let you go ahead, man. I really appreciate you coming on. It was great catching up. I look forward to doing more with you in the future. Hopefully we can. So, guys, get to Kickstarter. Pledge something. $5, whatever. Support this book. Whatever you can do. I'm going to check it out, decide what I want to pledge. And if you guys need to, I will be posting a cable bust that he did for me a while back. You can go to his page and you can check out the Batgirl he did. Greg, if you have that Nightwing handy, why don't you pull yourself up on screen and show this, man? This was beautiful. Now, this one here we purchased. The proceeds went to Straight Jude. You're no stranger to charity. So, and I love that about you. That's one of the things I love the absolute most, when creators love giving, back. They appreciate what they have and they love giving it away. I think Greg wandered off. Maybe he might be. There he is. You can pull yourself up here, buddy, if you got it handy.
Sorry, I had to pull down.
Say hi to Greg, everybody.
But,
Yeah, that's drunk drawing right there.
There was I think he drew on a napkin that night too, and a couple other things. That was a great evening, and maybe we'll get to go back and I'll see you at Memphis Comic Expo again. I love going up there. I love Donald and just the atmosphere and that little intimate setting of a con like that, man.
I'd love to go back. I love that town too. So hopefully they'll have me back out there soon.
Right on. All right, man. We'll see you here soon, and good luck with the Kickstarter, buddy.
Thank you.